look at it. The GameCube controller is quite nice. Well, one in good condition is quite nice. This is one I just got done refurbishing. I filmed a little bit of it, but it's not super in-depth, but neither is this one. I kind of just wanted to take one apart, clean it, and fix these really chewed up thumbsticks. I've got these replacements. They're not as soft as a plastic, but I think they'll be fine. I'm also going to try to clean this thing as best as I can, and hopefully have a good condition Indigo GameCube controller. So the first thing we need to do is we need to remove these screws. There are 6 in the back. You're going to want a tri-wing screwdriver. You can buy these on eBay, Amazon, anywhere consumer electronics are sold. Well, can't say that. Anywhere that you're going to have to contend with whatever nonsense Nintendo's doing. You just need to unscrew and flop open. That's more than acceptable. That's how I had to take the first one of these apart. I've taken all of mine apart except for my the one I bought for Smash 4. Alright, so now that you've got all the screws out, you're kind of just going to want to give it a little bit of a rock just to break the seal. I wasn't able to get to that screw, so I'm going to carefully remove that. The whole rumble. Never mind, I got it. I was going to say the whole rumble piece is coming up and out, but it actually just clicks right onto the board with little plastic tabs. You just gotta be careful pulling that out. It loops around that plastic peg. So this is the board. We're gonna go ahead and peel the silicone off. Or silicone, I guess. This stuff's still in pretty decent condition. Okay. Peel the one on the D-pad off. And then the buttons can kind of just spill out. Make sure to get the start button too. That thing is small. Alright, so we have disassembled this as much as we need to. This is grody. We're going to set the plates aside for right now. I kind of want to get the sticks off. All you need to do is just kind of squeeze at the base and rock kind of back and forth, and it should pry out. Just be careful. The C-stick is on its own separate board, attached with a ribbon cable. Permanently attached with a ribbon cable, actually. Huh. Alright. Those are garbage. Well, the C-stick might actually be okay. Yeah, the C-stick's okay. It's filthy. I'd rather use clean and new ones. Alrighty. So, now we've got to start rubbing this bad boy down. I'm just going to use some rubbing alk. You could use whatever. I have actually cleaned... I tried cleaning one of the shells with soap and water, and it worked, just it didn't take a lot off. I probably should have scrubbed a little more than I did. Alrighty, so I'm just going to come in around here. There's a lot of dog fur and crumbs. Kind of build up all around the control stick. And then some grease and crap kind of hanging out inside the control stick. C-stick is astoundingly clean. Goes to show you how much that gets used. I will go the Q-tip route, and I think actually I'm going to start with the buttons, not the other stuff. All right, I'm just going to pour myself a little. Just gonna pour myself that, just so I can easily dip my Q-tips and scrub. These buttons are filthy. Yeah, like 20 years ago, we bought the GameCube, what? Oh, I think we bought ours in 2002. So I would have been 5. That's part of growing up. You don't take care of the stuff you have as a kid, so you get, defensive about all the stuff you have as an adult. on a pursuit, you know, to reclaim some part of your childhood. And, you know, like, baby boomers restore, you know, the old hot rods from their teen years. You know, Gen X, they had, you know, cassette players that they, you know, repaired. You know, microcomputers. And Gen Z, we gotta clean the GameCube controllers. There is a whole, like, nick in this Y button. If I knew it was gonna be in that shape, I would have bought a new Y button. Yeah, if this is the controller we got with our GameCube when we first bought it, this controller is 20 years old. Eeh. A GameCube controller can vote. I'm sorry, random garbage trivia hangs around my head like change in the dryer. This is probably a montage at this point of just like cutting back whenever I have something to say that's out of context. And that's probably for the better. If they told me like, hey, Jay, you've got ADHD, I'd be like, yep. Oh, you knew? No, I just had a hunch. Oh, and the results of the test came back. Yeah, you've got autism. Yep. Oh, you knew that one? No, I had a hunch. Actually, it's funny. The mountain in the game Celeste is actually an allegory for cleaning GameCube controllers. To the town of Agua Fria rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make the slip, for the ranger there among them had the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Now the stranger started talking, made it play. That is good enough. Good enough, I say. Alright, so the board's clean. Our sticks are clean. It is time to piece this bad boy back together. We're going to grab our new control sticks. There's a little notch on the inside, and that just lines up with the corresponding tab on the stick. It's going to want to kind of wiggle around. You've just kind of got to... Okay. Yeah, they kind of have to go on, like, facing upright. Or, like, facing forward. I've found that that's the best way to do it. Alright, now let's go ahead and piece together all the stuff in the body of the controller here. D-pad, any direction will do. This is our A button. There's kind of like a white film on the top. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't wipe off, so... You know, we'll cut our losses there. All of the other buttons only really go in one way, so... Yeah, so that's that button. And... There's that. And then right over top goes our conductive film. There's a little plastic tab that you've got to push through. Silicone mat for the D-pad. That goes on so much easier. Start button goes in kind of diagonally, and then you just loop the mat over top there. Z button is tricky. I'm not even gonna I'm gonna be honest with you. The Z button is tricky because it sits inside of a little plastic slot, and it's very shallow. Alright, and now we kind of just press this down on top, like so. Our control stick, or our cable for the stick went around that little post there. And then we just sandwich this on top, and the Z button popped out. That's going to happen a lot, so just finagle it back into place. These things don't go together fantastic. in the process of rebuilding. And I know a lot of people do like crazy mods to these things to make playing Smash Brothers better. Like there's certain controller mods where just meant to make performing that Ice Climbers trick thing, the wobble, easier. Stuff like that. Alright, and then to screw this back in place, I'm just going to start in the top corner, and I'm going to torque these screws pretty much as far down as I can. That one came to a stop, and then I'm gonna go for the grip next to the D-pad. Yeah, you want to work from the back. I made the mistake once of working from the front because that's where the buttons are. No, you really can't get it back together in that way. So just, you know, don't. So it's definitely better. It looks cleaner. It's not perfect. It didn't go back together perfectly. There's a couple of things I'm not super satisfied with, but it feels much better. That Y button feels like garbage. I don't think I think that silicone sleeve may have, or the mat may have just fell. So I'm gonna have to probably take this part apart again, but I'll do that on my own time. That's pretty much what it takes to take one of these apart and put it back together again. It's pretty simple. I've never done it before, but it was pretty dang simple. So if I can do it, you know, a goofball like me, you can do it too. People still use this thing, so there's a whole wide array of aftermarket stuff for it. Finding OEM is a nightmare. But if you want to know, I got these on eBay and this on Amazon, and the whole ordeal costs like $15-20 almost, at most. So you can replace the sticks if you need to super cheaply. If you just want to clean the controller, you can do that with just, you know, rubbing alcohol, maybe some hot water, and a ludicrous number of Q-tips that are now very filthy.